Welcome to the Lew Perspective. It's going to be another episode of our movies here. You know, we would probably never get through it because, I mean, there's so many movies, but I mean, you know, in the context of it. Yep. But anyways, how are you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you, Harold?
Good.
So we're going to go through, I thought this was a pretty cool thing that we can do. There's the IMDB top 250 movies. It says as rated by regular IMDB voters.
Okay.
So regular people, everyday people like us.
So what is the IMDB? What is that?
It's a database. Well, it's like it's an app or a website that does.
Actually has those. Okay. I've seen it before, but I just didn't know all that
stuff.
Okay.
So we thought that would be different.
Yeah, different than just kind of our list. This is kind of like the list that they've compiled.
It's their list.
Okay.
So we can go through and kind of give our perspective on if we've seen any of these movies.
Yes.
And if we have, what do we think about them? Because I would bet there are some movies on here that we have not seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you know,
you got 250 some movies that they listed, and these were their sort of their top picks.
And all time.
All time.
So it's like
250.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many movies do you think have been made?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
millions?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, going down through this list, when I started to think about the movies that are on here, it doesn't have all of them, the movies that are in there. But
no.
I mean, but most of the movies I remember, if I didn't see them, I saw their name somewhere. Yeah, and then there are other movies that I've not seen that I had not heard of.
Yeah.
And so if you're talking about, you know, thousands of movies or millions, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, though, to really know how many movies there have been made. I mean, over the course of I guess they started filmmaking, etc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know some of these are from I saw maybe the 20s or something. So
yes,
they've been making films for over a century
1939. I saw one that was dated back to 1939 on this list here. So, I guess they ranked them in the order of what they were. So
they were ranked in order as rated by regular IMDb voters. So this is, I guess, the top.
So we'll start with the first one.
We'll start with the first one. What is it?
The Shawshank Redemption.
The Shawshank Redemption, 1994.
Now, did you ever see that movie?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very, captivating movie in that, and I would say that you got Tim Robbins and you've got
Morgan Freeman Tim Robbins,
and the two for sure in that they really play very well off of each other,
right?
And the aspect of this prison life and how this came about sort of brought you through this. I can remember if that was based on a real story or real events or anything like that.
I don't remember either.
It really doesn't. I mean, I did, but I remember watching the movie and watching the transition of the two of them in this, prison confinement here and all the way through to the end. And I'm not gonna. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to
go see it. It's a good movie.
See it. It's a very good movie.
It's a crazy good movie.
So in that, and it was done 1994.
Yeah.
So it's about 2 hours and 22 minutes long, but it really sort of holds you back. And the supporting actors that are in this also sort of captivates you and brings you into the story, and you kind of find out in their transition in this confinement that they're in, their life that they're going through. It was like, wow. And then I thought it got emotional towards the ending of the movie here.
It did.
So without
spoiling it, but it was, right? Because you know what happens at the end, and it was...
Yeah, it was amazing. The second one.
Yes, The Godfather.
Yes.
1972. I wasn't born. I wasn't even born, but
I remember
it's
when
a
it came out.
Yes. Yeah, like
I couldn't see it at that time. I could not, when it came out to the movie theaters, I saw The Godfather, and it's like, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And of course, I was too young to they wouldn't let you in because I think you had to be 18 and above.
It's still the same, right? Yeah, 18.
Yeah, 72, and I was not there at that level, but I couldn't wait when I got old enough. I wanted to see what The Godfather was.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, these guys were... Marlon Brando.
Yeah,
and I knew Marlon Brando from just seeing, some of the work that he'd done, when he was younger on television, growing up.
Yep.
But he was the Godfather, and he sort of put that stamp on that.
Well, I think it was interesting too because that movie in particular, right? You think of the mafia and all that stuff, how they were really going through kind of that stuff, right? With, in the news, and, the families were being, arrested and stopped, so. People were interested in that too.
Yeah, I mean, it started because, the gangster period of life in the U.S., you had this in the roaring 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, and you had these families that were involved in this behavior that was, and so it was kind of shrouded under the cover. You didn't know a lot about and so when The Godfather came out, it sort of uncovered that, and people found it fascinating to see that this was actually right here in this time frame. So
exactly. So good. That's a good one. Yeah. What else next? The Dark Knight, 2008.
Yes.
Again.
Now, did you see that one?
Yeah, of course. Okay. The whole all from the Batman, those were the Christian Bale era, which was again. Probably was
he the main character in that as Batman at that time?
He was Batman at that time, and then just great, just the showing of that with Heath Ledger, of course, as the Joker.
Okay,
right. Did he win an Oscar for that one? He might have posthumously, right? Like when he passed away before the end of this.
Right, and I thought that it seems like he was nominated or something in that. And it was kind of sad suddenly that
he won. Departure. Yeah, he did win. He won the Oscar for that.
Okay, because that's what I remember.
Yes, he won the Oscar for that. Right after he passed away, he won an Oscar for that one. He played a great role with the Joker, of course. Anne Hathaway as a Catwoman. Bane,
you guys probably don't know anything about that, but go see it if you haven't seen it.
Watch all of them, right? You have to watch all of them. So. Okay, what else?
And the next one is Godfather Part 2.
There you go.
So, that one came out, and that one came out in 1974. Yeah, like 74. A couple of years. Because when you saw the first one, and the intensity of what it was in that, you couldn't wait to see what was going on because it continued after that. And so Godfather Part 2 continued to elevate that.
Do they have a Part 3?
I think they did.
They did.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did too.
I can't remember if it's on this list, but I think I remember seeing that because it kind of showed at
least 1 and 2
continuation. Yes.
Yeah. Good. What's up next?
Angry Man. I remember the title.
Yeah, I
don't remember ever seeing that movie. Even as growing up, I thought I remembered seeing that title. As a 1957. Of course, I was just maybe 1 year old at that time, as it had come out or something like that.
Yeah,
but I do remember the next one.
What is that?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King.
That was, Viggo
Mortensen.
Yeah, I loved him all the way through the whole series of that, and I did watch all of the Lord of the Rings, and I really didn't start out like I think my son at the time when he was younger. It talked about Lord of the Rings, and I thought, well, let's rent it and see it. And then when I saw the first one, I got caught in it, and then I had to watch it all the way through to see. Yes, and so I won't say anything about if you haven't seen it because it'll last. It's kind of like one of those classics in the sense it'll continue to last.
Yeah, for sure it will.
But I thought that was a good movie.
That was a great movie. King. Yeah, great movie. Schindler's List is next, 1993.
What a movie! Oh my goodness!
Spielberg.
It was. I think it was, and I was going to say that. It was a biography and a drama. Yeah,
Schindler, who saved how many? Thousands and thousands of people. Right?
Yeah, and how he went about to do this. It was it's a movie. If you haven't seen it, I would say you should see it.
That one's a good.
Yes, and it's not one that I watch all the time because it's
intense though. Like it gets you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And so I will see it again because it really is based on the real events that happen and how this individual had an effect on the lives of the ones that survived in this moment in time. So if you haven't seen it, it should be on your list.
That's a good list. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
The next one,
number 8.
Have you seen that?
Pulp Fiction, a long time ago. I was younger. I don't remember a lot about it.
It's crazy, and I laugh at this, and I know most people think that's kind of twisted. And you're laughing at it, but the characters, John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in there, and Harvey Keitel. Just a couple of the characters in this. They go about, and I remember some of the scenes in there, and as brutal as they were. I laughed at the I don't know what you call it, but even now I still laugh at some of the scenes and the way they were handling this. I found myself liking the movie when I didn't think I would.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Quentin Tarantino, right?
Yes, it was, and I don't know if his intention was to be that way in this movie, but I kind of rank it as probably one of my top favorites of his movies that he's ever done. Yes,
okay. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, it's kind of like one of those ones. Did you see that? You said you saw it a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Long time ago. Okay, cool. Number 9, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings. I think that's the first one, right?
Well, I thought it was. I thought it might have been the first one because 2001.
Return of the King was that the second?
I thought 2000. The Return of the King came out.
Maybe that was a
Return of the King came out after that.
Yes.
And so I know they had several others that followed that. But the Fellowship of the Rings may have been the first one.
The first one, yeah. I think that might have been. Yeah, because then, if you look down the list further, there's a few more towns.
Yeah, see the next one. The Two Towers.
The Two Towers was the second one.
Okay.
And then the Return of the King was the third one. So I think, if I remember that right, I think they filmed everything once.
Oh, is that how they did it?
I think they did that. And then they could release back to back years.
Oh.
Because usually you have, 2 years between?
Right, in between, yes.
Maybe 2 or 3, maybe.
Usually.
Right? So I think they did.
So maybe because they wanted to catch the characters while they were in that age progression.
I think they did that.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it could be that's a long time ago, but.
But I could watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I could almost watch it again.
Oh yeah. Oh, that one, always go watch those again.
And the next movie that we see, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You probably have seen that.
No,
that was a Western movie that I remember. And if I remember right, I thought Clint Eastwood was in that one.
He's got to be.
But I don't have that.
Westerns, I think Clint Eastwood. Right?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of some of the names, but I don't have that list right here.
All right, no worries.
Then the next one after that, maybe you guys remember that. The 11th one on the list.
Forrest Gump.
I
love that movie.
I mean, Tom Hanks.
Amazing.
I'm almost trying to think what movie Tom Hanks has been in that hasn't been good. Can you think of any movie that? I mean, he's been in a series of different movies, and
I can't.
I mean, from the start of where I think I remember seeing him break out was I think we mentioned previously Big.
Big was a good movie.
And then after that, and the way he became this character, now I look at Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah,
and you think he became that character, that guy,
amazing,
and he and everybody remembers him as that, and he sort of branded that. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And how the movie moved through its story.
Yep.
It was really captivating.
It is.
And how it sort of he built it into real events, and yet at the same time is a fictional character.
Right. That's funny. They plugged him into those real events. I remember that.
Yes.
That's right. They plugged him into those real events.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump's a good movie.
Good movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, there it is.
Number 12. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. 2002. So there was 2001, 2002, 2003.
And that's where I was kind of thinking that, as you were saying that maybe they did this.
Yeah.
To catch those guys. And, because you wanted to catch them before they got old enough that it really, sort of.
So it was a good movie.
Yes.
A good series, right, by the way. All of it was good.
Now, The Fight Club was the next one on the list here. And, it got a lot of interest and a lot of people watching it. I didn't really see it when it first came out. I think I saw it later, and I was I had kind of a mixed take on it because I wasn't quite sure where it was going and why they were doing what they were doing. And this Brad Pitt was good in it, in that in the dynamic of the storytelling, but I couldn't quite understand why you had these clubs that were just fighting.
Yeah. Well, then you watch the end, and then you're like, okay, I get it, because he's he's crazy. So
okay, so anyway,
it's crazy.
So, okay, maybe I'll see that.
Yeah, but it's a good movie. It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
That's why it's on this list right here, because they had
just 20.
Now, and the next one that we have on the list was
14.
Inception.
DiCaprio.
Yes. That was kind of a twisted, yes.
It was a twisted one. Who else was in this one?
Trying to remember how that was.
Elliot Page was in this one, right? So that's right.
Did you get the concept of the movie, or did you understand that?
It was interesting. I
mean, because the architecture was turned inside out, and I was kind of like that, and I was trying to, and I couldn't quite understand where the dynamic, and maybe some of you guys could,
it's one of those where you might have to watch more than once,
and right? to start to kind of get that.
Yeah, it's really, and then to really immerse yourself to say, oh, this is probably a good movie, right?
Yes,
because I think at the surface, if you watch it once, you could be like, it was.
I like the architecture in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's good. Oh man. Okay, what do we got next? Star Wars.
Yes,
Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Now, see, that's kind of interesting. Episode 5,
right?
The Empire Strikes Back. But everybody that remembers watching the earlier versions of Star Wars,
they didn't put episode something, right?
Right, they did not.
It was just The Empire Strikes Back.
That was it.
Yeah.
But it was actually in the sequence of what George Lucas had created.
Yes.
Now, if I remember right, George Lucas did this series, the first one, the Star Wars, and Hollywood was like, nobody wants to see this science fiction movie. And he had just come out, I believe he had just come off the run where he had done, I want to say American. Well, it wasn't American. It was something to do with nostalgia.
Okay.
And I can't call it right off, but he did this series, a sci-fi series. And Hollywood was kind of like, nobody's going to want to see this science fiction movie. And when it came out, it started to break the box office records.
Okay.
And people around the block, the lines around the block were filing into the movie theaters to see Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I remember being in college at that time, the first year, and I remember everybody talking about Star Wars. And I'm thinking, I want to see it, but I'm not going to rush to the theater. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, I got to see it again.
Oh yeah,
and I think that was sort of what Hollywood did, and it got to be one of those runaway trains.
Yeah.
That Hollywood, and I read a book about, I think it was like 600 and some pages about, and it was called Fatal Subtraction, and I read about what Hollywood, and after that, said they would never do that again. Because they gave him all the rights and everything.
They gave him all the rights, yeah.
Absolutely,
okay,
because they didn't want to have anything to do with the sci-fi, because they thought nobody wanted to see science fiction.
Yeah.
And the rest of it became history.
Yeah.
And that's George Lucas kind of kicked that ball off into the ozone. So yeah, I mean,
he's got a whole franchise on that one.
Absolutely.
Still to this day, it's got new episodes. Yeah.
And that rolled over into Disney. Finally took over the latest aspects of Lucas
Lucasfilm.
vision.
Lucasfilm. Yeah, that's what it was.
So the Empire Strike Back was just like, it was,
it was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it was.
Right? For that,
because no one expected that, and he brought in some really great effects into that. So, anyway, your movie is the next one.
Now, The Matrix, number 16 from 1999.
Matrix.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about that in the previous one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, loved it. It's. I'm glad it's up there. I'm glad it's in the top 20 as voted. But again, just get you thinking: are we here?
That was the thing that we said. Are we really here?
Or are we just plugged in?
Plugged in.
We're just.
If you haven't seen it,
food.
If you haven't seen it, you should see it.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
What do you think about the next one?
The Goodfellas. Yes, I remember that movie a long time. I probably saw it, but I don't know the details of it. Right?
I think it's one of my favorite gangster movies.
It's a whole genre. Right?
And it says it just like that. The Goodfellas.
Yeah.
The Goodfellas. I mean, I'll tell you, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in his role of that character.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to look at him.
Oh.
And so if you haven't seen that movie.
But see, when I think Joe Pesci, Home Alone.
Okay,
see, that's why.
Okay,
that's why.
He's not Home Alone in this one.
I know he's got more serious roles, but like Home Alone, that's my childhood
just don't look at it.
My childhood growing up was...
I could see it. And Goodfellas, just don't look at it.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. What do we got? 18.
Nest. Is that what it is?
I've never seen it.
Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
And the thing about Jack Nicholson, I did not really watch Jack Nicholson, and this was not on my list At first, I saw The Shining.
Okay.
And I don't know why I saw The Shining. I think because they talk kind of like it might have been kind of scary, and people sort of elevated it to that point, and I didn't fully understand it. But when I watched it, I thought his performance in The Shining was such that, oh my gosh.
You wanted to see other things.
And so then I thought, I got to go back, and I'm going to see One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay.
And Jack Nicholson became one of my favorite actors in that. Because he caught me in The Shining, which I didn't expect, and how he was this one moment, and the next moment he was insane. And so One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I thought if he was insane in The Shining, what was he like in the One Who Flew? And so that sort of became that, and I thought I saw it, and I really liked the movie. I didn't know what I was going to see, but I was going to watch Jack Nicholson, and his performance I thought was brilliant in that.
Okay, so I've never seen it. Interstellar. That was
number 19.
Wow. I want to say fairly new, but that's like a decade old already.
Yes.
Wow.
I went to the movie theater to see that. And I remember seeing that because I liked the science fiction part of it, but it was adventure into the black hole.
Okay.
How do you go in and come out the other side, or could you?
Yeah.
And that's always been something that has been not something that astronomers or even physicists say is possible.
Right.
You know, the event horizon. Once you get there, that's it. Boom. You're done. You're done. There's no way Yeah. And so Interstellar takes us into this space and time. And Matthew McConaughey is great in this adventure here.
Yep.
I'm kind of mixed with the ending, and I won't say what the ending is because I think it was released right now recently on streaming, and I can't remember if it was on. I think it's on Netflix, but I'm not certain. But it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. What's the next one? 7 top 20.
Did you ever see that movie?
I did. It's been on TV as well.
It's been around.
Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Seven Deadly Sins.
Like 3 years ago?
No, is it? Oh man, 95.
That's what I'm saying. 95.
Oh my gosh.
2025. Yes.
30 years ago.
It didn't seem like it.
No.
Okay. So, anyways,
it's a serial killer. Yes. That's what it was about.
But it was following that. The number was
the 7. I thought it was like the 7 Deadly Sins. And then the final one, which you still remember that scene at the end, right? And I won't spoil it. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to look at this movie.
Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt.
Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. The ending, I always remember that with Brad Pitt. He gets that box. That's all I'll say, right? And then, it is what it is.
What a movie it was. It was a twister, and it took you through this, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay. I mentioned this one right here. Yes. This one right here is probably, if you haven't seen and you don't know about it, you should. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't know. Have you said you haven't seen it?
No, I know I've seen it. I
can't believe you hadn't seen it.
I just don't.
It comes on every holiday, Christmas.
Yeah.
It is.
No, that's true. It does.
And I say it is one of the Christmas watch movie. It should be on your list. If it isn't on your list, it should be on your list.
Yeah.
And James Stewart.
Did they ever remake that movie? By the way,
not that I know.
This is 1940. I know, but just updating.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if they do, would it be as good as it was? Because
it would have to be one of those direct to TVs or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you just play that remake.
I'm not sure
it's not going to make money.
Jimmy Stewart
probably won't be that good.
He is the guy in this. I don't know if anyone could ever take that, from him. It's one of my favorite, especially for the holidays. I like to see it around that because it has. Anyway, it's a great movie.
It's a good movie. Okay, good.
Classic.
What's up next here? Seven Samurai.
That
1954.
Never heard of that.
Never heard of it. I'm sure
I do remember seeing the name, but I don't remember exactly what it was about.
So they hire farmers from a village exploited by bandits hire a veteran samurai for protection, and he gathers 6 other samurai to join him. So
what year? 1954.
It sounds like a movie that has been remade.
Okay.
Somewhere down the line. Okay. But anyway, I'm sure the original, which is Seven Samurai. I'm sure that's a good movie.
Well, it must be because it's on this list.
It's voted by.
So it must be one of a classic here. So it might be worth seeing there.
Yeah,
if you can find it.
3 hours and 27 minutes.
Get out of town. It does say that.
Wow. Okay, but it still might be worth it. Yeah.
1954. I didn't know they made movies that long.
Yeah.
Back then. I thought that was only in the modern time.
Yeah, that's a long. Let's see, you can get it on. Oh, it's on Max right now, so it's on a streamable platform. If you are subscribed to that platform,
okay,
you can see it.
Take a look at that and see.
Yeah,
3 hours in your popcorn.
3 hours.
You gotta have
3 hours and hours.
Be ready for intermission somewhere.
You gotta watch it on a Friday night with nothing to do.
Stream, right?
Or stream it, yeah.
And, okay, the next one we got on the list, we're trying to go down this list, but it's 250 some.
Oh, that's so many.
We're just now approaching the 25.
23. We're not even going to get through a quarter of it.
And I'm thinking we're almost at the end of our time. Right?
Oh, my goodness.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
That's a scary movie.
Scary movie.
Do you...
Hopkins? Is that Hopkins? No.
Yes, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster is an FBI agent who basically really is kind of thrown into this moment.
Lecter?
Oh, yeah. And he is absolutely scary in this movie. And I thought after I saw him in this, I could see why they gave him the Sir over in the UK.
Yeah, scary. He's super scary in this movie.
He was great in this movie right here, yes.
The whole look.
And I think they came back with a follow-up behind this.
Did they?
I thought they did. I thought I saw...
Was it recent? Like...
I can't remember.
2010s maybe it came out?
I thought there was...
I think you might be right.
But I thought it was another follow-up because I thought he was still kind of scary in that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was Jodie Foster was the one that was actually now in this. So maybe it was a different movie that was spin off of that. But anyways, he was in this movie and he was like... I mean, I could see how they had him bolted down.
Yeah.
Because it seems like...
over his face?
Yeah, because the thing that he seemed like he could walk through the cells and still get out. And even when he was confounded to that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I thought, whoa, Silence of the Lamb. It looked innocent when you see that butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's not.
It's not.
So if you haven't seen that one, that's a movie to see. Be ready to be scared, though.
Yeah.
The next one on the list, 24, number 24, is Saving Private Ryan.
We talked about this one.
That was one of my top hits, yes. Tom Hanks was in that. Steven Spielberg, and they take you to World War II and the battlefield. They were Normandy. Oh, my goodness. If you haven't seen that one, you almost have to have that sound around, stereo sound around you because you can hear the bullets flying past your head as the guys are actually storming this beach. It's like, that is the first most intense. I never forgot that first initial scene in that movie when they started to do that. And then the story, really how it unfolds. Great movie.
Great movie.
City of Gods was number 25. We did make it at 25.
We did make it. And I've seen it.
You have seen it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So it's about the slums in Rio, Brazil.
Okay.
And it's about two I think it's two kids, if I can remember. Let me see what the description says. Yeah. Two kids' paths diverge as one struggles to become a photographer and the other a kingpin. So one stays in the life of, crime and the other tries to get out. And a great movie. I think it was in...
Is it subtitles or...
Yes, subtitles. It was subtitles when it came out in 2002. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I did see it after.
Okay, so it's kind of like it's a good watch.
It's a good movie, yeah. Okay. It's a very good movie. Wow. Just to see that whole contrast at the very end, of course. You'll see what happens, but it's pretty good.
Look that up and see that.
It's a good movie. Yeah, definitely worth a watch. And
that's a 2 hour and 10 minute movie there on that. Yeah. I guess the last one we'll probably do is The Green Mile.
The Green Mile.
If you haven't seen that, again,
Tom Hanks with the fire movies coming out.
He hasn't really disappointed.
He's never shown missed, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so in that, his portrayal of the guard, the prison guard, and his relationship with the prisoner that was in the
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes. Actually, Michael Clark Duncan, his sister is in the Star Trek series called Discovery. That's on Paramount.
Really?
Yeah, that's his sister. She was the captain of one of the ships. Okay. Yeah, that's his sister.
Yeah, okay.
And so
he passed away
many
years ago now, almost a decade
But he was in that. He was great in that movie. Yeah. Such a big guy.
He's a huge guy with a soft heart.
Yes, with this it's crazy. In this movie, if you haven't seen it, it is worth seeing,
Yes.
And that. So we're going to stop there
we
because
got two. I mean,
we just got at least, would you say a quarter or
not even a tenth? A 30. Yeah, 30 out of 250.
Yeah. What is 250? We got to 25.
Oh, 26. Yeah.
Okay, 26. We did get to 26.
That is not much at all. That's 10%.
That's what I said. We got a tenth of the way through that.
Lord,
so,
my goodness.
We'll come back again.
Maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we'll keep
you want to do it differently, so then we did it. That's a little different than what we were doing through.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one.
We want to say at the very end, we always say a great act of kindness. If you could do a good act of kindness along the way, it would be great to do that. You can also tune into Kindness 101. Because they do that, I believe it's on CBS.
Okay.
Or at least is affiliated with CBS.
Yep.
And they always show someone that is doing something that for humanity.
Yep.
Kindness 101. So, in any case,
awesome.
Until the next time. What do you say, John?
I say follow us on social, and that would be YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, thank you.
Okay.
Facebook, TikTok.
Got it. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye.